Caught between Washington and Beijing, Chinese students face a hard choice. Analysis. The newest front in the U.S.-China rivalry is unfolding on American campuses. Chinese students, once viewed as bridges between the two nations, are now urged, and sometimes forced, to pick a side. Analysts say Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping's push for a stronger, more assertive China has set Beijing on a collision course with Washington. As both governments harden their positions, hundreds of thousands of Chinese students in the United States feel the squeeze. American consular officers now routinely deny or cancel visas linked to the regime's military-industrial network. Beijing, meanwhile, has tightened surveillance of its citizens overseas, branding outspoken students as security risks and, in some cases, jailing them when they return. Academic neutrality is no longer an option. America's doors start to close. In March, Representative John Molinar, chair of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, ordered 6 universities, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, Purdue, the University of Illinois, the University of Maryland, and the University of Southern California, to hand over enrollment lists for every Chinese national on campus. The data revealed that all 6 schools were training graduate students from China's 7 Sons of National Defense, elite institutions that feed talent directly into the People's Liberation Army. When the committee released its findings on September 19, it noted that U.S. taxpayers were helping foot the bill. One university reported that 515 of its 1,139 Chinese graduate students, faculty, and staff were funded through federal grants or contracts. Another said 1,115 of its 2,580 Chinese graduate students were funded through teaching or research assistantships. The committee urged the State Department to deny visas to applicants from the 7 Sons, the related 7 Sons of the arms industry, and 58 universities overseen by the Chinese State Administration for Science, Technology, and Industry for National Defense. The U.S. State Department was already moving in that direction. Since May, it has revoked visas for Chinese nationals in sensitive fields or with open CCP ties. President Donald Trump briefly suggested allowing 600,000 Chinese students into the country, but analysts called it a bargaining chip, not policy. In August, U.S. border officers turned back a Chinese philosophy student, identified only as Gu, after finding he belonged to several Chinese Students and Scholars Association chat groups linked to the CCP's United Front Work Department that carries out propaganda and influence operations abroad. Beijing protested, but similar denials continue. There isn't much daylight between the Biden and Trump administrations on this issue, said Mr. Han, a Chinese national who completed graduate studies in the United States this year. Rules are just enforced harder now. Some departments don't take Chinese applicants at all anymore. Vanishing acts on campuses. Purdue University shows how quickly the landscape is changing. Once the nation's second-largest public university for international students, Purdue used to draw thousands from mainland China into its engineering programs. Those numbers are plummeting. Total Chinese undergraduate enrollment in fall 2024 sank to 747, down from 3,241 in fall 2014. Overall, Chinese enrollment fell another 5.2% this year. I noticed it in spring 2022, said recent Purdue graduate Chen Langry. In general education courses, you used to see 5 or 6 Chinese students per class. By the next spring, there were barely any. Some newcomers left after just 1 semester, he told the Epoch Times. Usually, people transfer into Purdue, not out. With the number of Chinese students decreasing, Chen sees a noticeable increase in Taiwanese students in labs and lecture halls. Beijing tightens its grip. While Washington blocks the front door, Beijing watches the back. Official statements from Beijing accuse the United States of putting up an iron curtain for science and tech, but unofficially, the CCP has stepped up its own monitoring of Chinese students abroad. In 2016, China's education ministry ordered stronger patriotic education for citizens studying overseas. Government-sponsored students had to sign contracts pledging loyalty and avoiding activities that could harm the regime's interests. During the Hong Kong protests in 2019, CCP members abroad were told to check in with their local party cells at home at least twice a year. Party members who studied abroad for over 5 years without returning to China, or lost contact with party organization for over 6 months, could have their membership suspended. Pressure climbed after the 2021 white paper demonstrations against COVID lockdowns, when students inside and outside China coordinated online. Since then, Chinese customs officials have questioned returnees about their studies and social media posts. In July 2024, Zhang Yadi, a student in France, was arrested while visiting home for inciting separatism after voicing support for Tibet and the White Paper movement. "It's not that Chinese students are the problem," said Lan Shu, a US-based China affairs analyst and a former host at Sound of Hope TV, an international Chinese-language broadcast network. The CCP has reverted to Maoist suspicion, where anyone with foreign ties is a suspect, Lan told the Epoch Times. Family pressure compounds the fear. Wang, a film student in Los Angeles, said his parents warned him not to criticize Beijing during overseas calls. "They warn me not to comment on China. They say the police have visited them," Wang told the Epoch Times. Choosing sides, or seeking asylum. The squeeze has cut Chinese enrollment in U.S. colleges from 373,000 in the 2019-20 academic year to 277,000 in 2023-24, according to the Migration Information Institute. At the same time, refugee claims are soaring. According to Safeguard Defenders, citing UN Refugee Agency data, 176,239 Chinese nationals sought refuge abroad in 2024, up 169% from 2019 and more than 14-fold since she took power in 2012. The United States received 88,722 of these asylum claims. Australia also saw record filings. "The relationship has deteriorated to where you have to choose," said Han, now an asylum applicant. "Under Obama, you could be neutral. Now, if you want to stay, you have to break with the CCP completely." With China's economy slowing and youth unemployment at record highs, many see brighter prospects abroad despite risks of lost scholarships, family harassment, or permanent exile, according to Han. "Unless your family is powerful in China, the U.S. offers more opportunities," Han added. "For some, family ties will pull them back," Lan said. "Others, especially those whose parents lived through the Cultural Revolution, will stay for good." For many born after the 1990s, the choice will shape the rest of their lives. Neither Washington nor Beijing is backing down. Congress is poised to make visa denials routine for anyone linked to China's defense network, and universities are shifting recruitment toward Taiwan and India. Beijing, committed to military-civil fusion, shows no sign of easing its scrutiny of returnees. For Chinese students caught in the middle, every application, border crossing, or campus event can feel like a test. Yet they keep applying, studying, and weighing futures on 2 continents. Song Tong and Yiru contributed to this report.